Hello and welcome back to part 2 of my trip from Southampton to Berlin Brandenburg in the British Airways E170. When I left you, I just passed Dover and was heading out towards the Belgian coast, and as you join me now, I have just begun my descent into Berlin. So I am between Tolgi and Battel, descending to be at flight level 240 at Battel. We've just gone past the town of Brunswick, and we're about to head over Wolfsburg. At Battel we'll turn right and head for Bapov. From Bapov we'll make a short straight to Surlu, and from Surlu slight left turn to head to Ogba. Ogba is where my approach should begin. Big right turn, about 150-160 degrees at Ogba, although the aircraft will cut the corner off it, and then that will get me on the approach proper. So I'm waiting for my approach to be confirmed. I've been told to expect runway 07 left, but that could change, and if it does, I'm going to accept the change. Because if you don't, you'll end up, if you directly request 7 left, you'll end up getting vectored. And when I tried this approach getting vectored before, Pro ATCX took me so far and then seemed to forget about me completely, and I ended up having to kill Pro ATCX and actually do the whole landing on my own initiative. So I'd rather keep the ATC going. So if they say 25 right, I will reprogram and accept 25 right. We have time for that, certainly. Hope you are all doing well. If you haven't watched part 1 of this video, I recommend that you do, otherwise you'll miss a lot of context. Not to mention quite a good takeoff and ascent from Southampton, if I do say so myself. Apologies, I've got a little bit bunged up and snotty since the end of the last video. There's been about half an hour, 40 minutes between Dover and here, and in that time I've acquired a bit of hay fever. Down to 150. So hopefully that will go away. So, I made a few updates in the last video about changes in the sim. I'm not going to repeat those in any detail, but just to briefly recap, the sim is now running Prepar3d 5.2 hotfix 1, which is the latest code at the time of filming, and pretty much all the add-ons are now compatible. I've solved a few stability problems I was having. I mentioned in the last part of the video that I've made about 20 attempts to film this video over the course of the last several months, and I kept failing mostly for reasons of sim stability. Not always, sometimes I just stuffed the thing up, but at one time I did an almost flawless flight and then discovered that my main camera was not recording the whole time. So it does pay to double check. So Prepar3d 5.2 hotfix 1. I've moved over to chase plane from EasyDock, which gives me the lovely cinematic camera system, so I can pop out the aircraft and do this. Obviously that looks like a flyby camera, and it is a flyby camera, but it's not the Sim's flyby camera. You can keep moving it. The moment it's running through, there you go, you get a slightly closer up view.
Berlin, Speedbird,
It's very focused on flyby cams right now. So that's
So
good.
Speedbird 9321, contact center on 123.22.
123.22, Speedbird.
I've moved over from UTL, Widetraffic Live, to
Speedbird 903.
Alpha India Group's AI Manager, one-click installer, and traffic controller combo. And again, very nice that is too. Not the easiest install, but once it's done, it's good. So I actually have traffic at Brandenburg now, which I would not have had with UT Live. I would have literally been alone at that airport, apart from the static aircraft models that are there. And that's really it for major changes in the sim. There is one other thing that I haven't mentioned so far. While we're waiting for clearance, I'll talk about it briefly, but I'll probably do a separate video on this when the time is right. You will recall me talking in previous videos about the slightly Heath Robinson system that I had to keep the systems on this aircraft synchronized with the ones on the host machine, because in this particular situation with this aircraft I do need the systems to be in sync for things to work properly. So I had a system which would get SPAD.Next to pick up changes, do a key press combination, and I had a database of dozens of key press combinations, which would then be relayed over to the other machine by a piece of software called Key2LAN, and then picked up on the client machine by FSUIPC, which would then execute a mouse macro or sometimes set an LVAR directly. And it worked, but it was not 100% reliable, and it took away most of my ability to do keyboard shortcuts for things that I actually wanted. So I thought there's got to be a better way than this, and hey, I'm a programmer, so couldn't I do something about that? And that's what I've been doing for the last few months. Another reason this video has taken as long as it has. I needed to get it to high enough quality that I could use it. Now there are definitely bugs in my software. There's a lot of bugs in the software. Just found a couple on this flight. Now you see, yeah, I knew that would happen. Right, let's change our arrival. 25 right, ILS. Transition log, but no star. It doesn't give me stars for some reason. I mean, Pro TCX will give stars, just doesn't give any here. I just don't think you need one. Right, so get rid of the discontinuity. Yeah, that looks good. Everything else will be the same, so that was straightforward. We need to change it here in ForeFlight as well.
Speedbird 90321, descend to flight level 65.
Down to 6.5.
6.5, Speedbird 90321.
Speedbird 90321, contact approach control on 190.5.
190.5, Speedbird 90321.
So yeah, I was talking about software that I've written.
90321.
What it does basically is it monitors LVARs that you tell it to. And it'll also monitor FSUIPT offsets that you want it to monitor. And then, depending on the logic that you programmed and certain conditions that might need to be met, it will then basically synchronize that value over to this machine. You can program it slightly more complicated things than that, but as a classic example, I was able to use it to synchronize pause on the two machines because there's an offset that changes when you pause. So when pause gets pressed here, this sim will go into pause as well, and vice versa. So that was a nice simple thing that I could do, but it's really for synchronizing the systems, and it does work to a point, but like I say, found a bug literally on this flight. I've been doing some fairly heavy work to it, so nowhere near ready for releasing yet, but when the time comes I will make it available to anybody who wants it, and hopefully it might be a useful addition for people that have the same kind of problems that I do. I'm not going to give a full demo or anything, but I thought I'd just bring it up, put it on the screen. That's the user interface. It's very simple at the moment. It'll get a better UI later on. But you can see there's a log of all the messages that it's been sending and the things it's been doing. So you can see that I recently paused and unpaused a couple of times. You can see the pause status going. And there's another copy of this software on the other machine, which receives the messages and then does something about them. And that's about it. Now, if we take a little look to the right there, it's just behind the windshield post, but that's the airport over there. Now, since we're on for 2.5 right, what we'll do is at Ogba there'll be a left turn, and then we'll head towards D216F, which is the first waypoint in the approach. We'll turn about 90 degrees to the right there, about 85 degrees, and head down across the airport, D300T, D300K, big turn on the final, Uburu at 4,000 feet, and then from Uburu we'll begin our descent, the final approach fix, and move over to the ILS. That, incidentally, is the reason why I was having such trouble maintaining my vertical approach profile at Amsterdam. I thought I was on the ILS, but I wasn't. I was still on RNAV, RNP specifically. Thank you very much.
Speedbird 90321.
Right, so we're ready for that approach. Yeah, I'd assume that it would do what other aircraft that I have do and transition to ILS guidance automatically, but it does not. You have to change guidance source to VOR manually, or else you don't actually get on the ILS proper. So now I know what I've done wrong, I can fix that. Right, I'm going to set the course numbers for each pilot on the MCP here to 250. That needs to be done in order for approach mode to kick in successfully and to transition to the ILS. So there's 250 in both. 25 right is the right runway to land on here. 25 left, for some reason, the ILS doesn't work. You don't pick up the localizer until you're basically at the runway threshold. I guess the beacon somehow got moved. I've got no idea how that might have happened. It might just be because of there's a shim layer to provide compatibility with Orbex EU Germany North that comes with the airport. I suspect maybe that is slightly broken, but anyway you look at it, you can't do a successful, or I can't do a successful ILS approach at runway 25 left, but I can on 25 right. Of course, yeah. Successful means following the glide slope down. It doesn't mean getting it on the ground in one piece, because I am terrible at landings. I'm certainly terrible at getting it gently on the centre line, but that's because I think I don't have all the steps down pat yet. In particular, the final slowdown. You know, you approach and go down the glide slope at 150 knots, which is fine. But then at some point you need to slow to 135 knots. My understanding is you don't normally do that until you're 2 miles. But when I do that, the aircraft goes even at full flap. The aircraft goes nose up, and not only can I not see what I'm doing in terms of getting aligned on the runway, but also I tend to lose the glide slope, and then I'm left floundering and trying to get it down, and quite often slamming it on the runway way off centre. So not really certain what I need to do yet, but I just need more practice, I guess. Hopefully we'll do okay. I've done a few okay landings at this airport, so it's not the end of the world if I don't do a perfect one today. Alright then, we are approaching the turn at the 216F. It's a flyover waypoint, so we won't start the turn until we've passed it, which means we'll go slightly off our approach track, but that's alright. Now, I've not been given any speed instructions by ATC, so as far as I'm concerned, I am free to slow down as I need to. So I'll start slowing down when we're on our way to D300T. We'll be taking that final turn at 180 knots, slow down to 160 at Abiru, and then down to 150 on the way to the final approach fix. Right, turn coming up momentarily. Now, there it is. I'm still on standard Barrow. The transition altitude at this airport is 5,000 feet, believe it or not. I've left it at 6,000, which is the transition at Southampton. The aircraft won't let me go over to local Barrow, which I will get obviously from ATC, until I'm below 6,000 feet, so I'm still on standard right now. So the airport just over there. On this view here, quite difficult to make it out, but it's basically over here. Why don't we pop out and have a look? Yeah, there it is in the background. It's basically just a white smear in that haze at the moment, so don't expect to see much. But we are starting to see bits of Berlin now. So these are the suburbs of Berlin below us, but there are some real scenery buildings over there. Also, we will fly past Tegel Airport fairly soon. Will be out in front of us there. Starting to see some Berlin landmarks, if you know where to look. But the city proper is over there. and we'll see more buildings when we are nearer. I have to say, I do like Prepar3d 5.2 with the hotfix that fixed some of the things that were quite badly broken. It's definitely improved the performance again, to the extent that I've been able to turn on quite a lot of settings that previously used to really cripple the sim. So, you know, heavy reflections and dynamic reflections and extra shadows and lighting. Lots of the GPU based effects, because I think the GPU is now less bottlenecked by CPU. I'm pretty happy with that. I'm not so happy with the haze. I mean, you can see the ground there, it's very hazy indeed, even at just over 6,000 feet. Some of that of course is down to the weather, but the fact is that enhanced atmospherics in P3D5 seems to overdo it with the haze and the Rayleigh scattering quite significantly. I'm hoping that it will be something you can turn up and down in a future release. Should be able to see some Berlin buildings. There you can see a few there through the window. That's central Berlin over there. Remember, this is FTX, EU Germany North, so it's not going to be, you know, True Earth style, and it's definitely not going to be MSFS style. Right, time to start slowing down. So speed to manual. We'll go down to 200.
Slowing down to 180 Eurowings 8070.
I'm just going to dial the map in a bit closer. 5 mile view. Airport at the 45-degree mark right now. So basically, yeah, you really can't see it from this view. Again, yeah, it's over there, but you really can't make much out. Right, we're at 200 knots, and we'll be able to take a notch of flaps momentarily. Right, there's flaps 1. Speed brakes become unavailable beyond flaps 1. So if I need to use them on my way down, and I will get cleared down momentarily, I want to stay at flaps 1, but then by the time we're turning I want to be at flap 2, and then at Ubura I want to be at flaps 3.
Speedbird 90321, descent to 4,500, QNH 1018.
Descending to
Alright,
4,500.
down we go.
1018, Speedbird 90321.
As we get closer to the ground, the haze should let up a little bit.
Descending to flight level 8045.
I'm maintaining the speed okay for now. It's not like a nosedive or anything, so only about 3-4 degrees descent. Let's do our checklist at this point. So now is the time. Yeah, belts are on. Put them on when we began our descent earlier, so they've been on for a while now. Altimeter, we can go to local barrow. Landing data set, yes it is. Check the ICAS, yeah, good. Approach briefing complete, yes. Descent checklist is complete. Landing checklist is next. Let's slow down a bit more. Down to 180 knots. Ready for the turn. Now we're still descending. And not at a fast rate, so I actually am going to apply a bit of speed brake. I believe that may be considered cheating. But what can I say? I've never had a problem with the occasional bit of cheating. Right, big turn coming up shortly. And that is our turn onto final. And then you should finally be able to see the airport.
Maintain present altitude.
Present altitude 5941.
Speedbird 90321.
There we go.
Finder approach tower frequency is 120.02.
Speedbird 90321.
Alright, so altitude select to 0. To bring us down to 4,000. Definitely need the speed brake at this point, otherwise we will pick up quite a bit of extra speed that I don't want. Here comes the turn. Yes. Don't want to get that warning. Right, speed to 170. Flaps to 2. We're coming round. Airport will be in sight any minute now. There it is. Nose is a bit high for you. Come down in a second. Flaps to 3. Speed to 160.
59041. Climb to 4,000.
Climbing to
And there is the airport.
5941.
Bring the course online. And slow to 150 and go flaps 4. Alright, we are lined up, although at a crab angle at the moment. There we go. Right, we are now descending below 4,000. Final fix is our next waypoint. We need to be at 1,420 feet there and at 135 knots, which is where things tend to get a little bit hairy, I have to say. Alright, we're on the path. let's go to the ILS, maybe a bit early, but we can do. And approach mode, localizer and glide slope are captured. And we're on glide slope quite nicely. Right, let's go flaps 5. That doesn't actually extend the flaps any further, it just changes the way that the FMS handles the aircraft. And let's start slowing down on approach speed. We kind of need to talk to the tower. Right. Yep. We're on the right frequency, except Prepar3d doesn't recognise that, so try that again. Really? What do you not like about that? Bear with me.
Say again. Speedbird 90321. Tower. Speedbird 90321 on 5. Request landing. Runway 25 right.
There we go.
90321. Slow to final approach speed.
Get out.
1018. Cleared for land. Runway 25 right.
Right, landing checklist. Flight attendants notified. Yes. ICAS checked. Yes. Landing gear down. Three green. Yes. Flaps. Verify landing position. Yes. Speed brakes armed. Yes. Auto brakes need to be at medium. Landing lights on. They are. Landing checklist is complete. Alright, here we go.
Left, request departure.
Ryanair 2606.
Hold your position. Hold in our position. Ryanair 2606.
Still on glide slope. Roughly on speed. We are ready for landing. Right, here we go, folks. There's Brandenburg. See the scenery building ahead of us. On the right hand side there, just above the lip of the dashboard, is the complex, the Schönefeld terminal complex. Remember that Berlin-Brandenburg Airport is actually Berlin-Schönefeld Airport as well. This runway is the original Schönefeld runway, and the Schönefeld terminal buildings are still used, I think, for cargo and private aviation. Right, 800 feet radio altimeter, we're going to manual at 500. So we're nearly there, folks. Just leave us to idle. This is where I normally cock things up, so fingers crossed. 500 feet. Autopilot is out. A little bit too high. Don't want to go too long. There we go.
Minimum.
Continue.
$50, $40, $30, $20, $10.
Nice place for a stutter. Reverse thrust.
Tower 931. On final request landing clearance. Runway 02 and white.
Speedbird 90321.
Reverse thrust in.
Right. Contact ground
Manual
control.
braking.
121.6.
121.6.
Manual brake.
Speedbird 90321.
Alright, flaps in. Landing lights off.
Welcome to Berlin.
Strobe lights off.
Please do remain seated with your seatbelts fastened.
Taxi lights
We have reached
on.
our final parking position.
let's just stop here for a minute.
Please leave your cell phones
Ground
switched off
Speedbird
until you have
90321 is
left
clear.
Flight directors
Runway.
off.
Request taxi to parking.
Speedbird 90321, taxi via Bravo Golf to parking position 14.
Via Bravo Golf to parking position 14 Speedbird 90321.
And we wish you a pleasant
Right,
remaining
let
day,
us.
or just in case, a nice onward journey. Thank you once again. Bye-bye.
Tell
Take care.
GSX where we're going. Bravo 14. No, follow me. Thank you very much. I know where it is, and we are good to go. So that wasn't a terrible landing. I mean, yeah, I did land on my right wheels first, so wouldn't have been the brilliantest landing for the passengers.
4553.
But you know,
Startup is approved.
I've done much worse than that, so I can't really complain. Let us have APU start,
1726. Startup and push
because
back.
we'll need that when we get to the gate. Some airlines, of course, do single engine taxi. I am not going to do that. Right, let's just get the after landing checklist. Transponder as required. Transponder is off. Flaps up, they are. APU as required, it's coming up. After landing checklist is complete. I'll stay on the line here.
1726.
If you're wondering why all that glass looks so blue, supposedly it's reflecting the sky. This is dynamic reflections, but I don't think they're that realistic because they should be reflecting the sky texture properly. Guess it is what it is. They look better when they're close up. Right, it's gate 14, that is 10. You can see GSX waiting for me at the gate. We'll have the taxi light off, so as not to blind anybody. 13, 13A, here comes 14. No marshal here, we've got a safe dock. Hand meters. And stop. Fucking brake on. Alright, so stop number 2. Stop number 1.
All doors in park and cross-check.
Thank you. Nav lights off. Have the panel lights back on. Parking checklist. Parking brake set. Thrust levers to idle. Engines to stop. Passenger signs off. Red beacon off. Hydraulic set. Parking checklist complete. Red beacon can go off once the ground power's kicked in, but I will now release the passengers. There you go. Windshield heaters off. Since we're here. Just waiting for that GPU to kick in. In the meantime, let's get the jetway. Now, this is where we're going to have slightly more fun. Oh, there's the GPU, so APU off and beacon light off. So we can do the normal GSX, but I have to start a program first. There we go. Jetway. The door 1. Confirm selection. There we go. Jetway is on the move. You can also see I'm getting different reflections on the two machines. I don't know why. Dynamic reflection seems to be a little bit of a dark art. We're getting the right reflections on your view, but not the right reflections on my view. Never mind, we'll try and fix for a future flight. Right, jetway is in place. Boarding music again. Now, it's not a transparent jetway, so you're not going to see the people walking, but I promise you they will be, and I'll show you the best you're going to get in a minute. But
5811, request startup.
5811. Startup
I'm
is
just going to
Startup approved.
come off the radios. There we go. And let's ask for deboarding. Actually, let's open the door before we do that. Otherwise that'd be embarrassing. Door is open. Request deboarding. And now the baggage holds need to be open. So if we just use the zoom, not the zoom, sorry, the forward. There is a quicker way to do this.
Okay, we're finished in the hold and clear of the aircraft.
Just oops. Keep an eye on the door there. It'll come back a bit so you can see it. There you go. You just see passengers walking out of the door and into the jetway. I'm afraid that's all we're going to see. Can't be helped. But we'll put the cinematic camera on and watch the other bits and pieces. So, welcome to Berlin Brandenburg Airport, everybody. Nice to be here. Nice, I think, to finally get this video in the can as well. In terms of upcoming videos, likely to be there'll be a video on the software that I've written when I'm ready to do so, talking about LVAR, offset syncing, etc. I'm likely to do another video on display systems. There's a few things to talk about there. And then the next flight is likely to be still in this aircraft, probably either to Prague, I'm thinking about, or maybe somewhere in Scandinavia, because I haven't really flown up in Scandinavia before. And that'll either be going from Gatwick, perhaps, although I'm not sure if, well, Cityflyer obviously doesn't fly from Gatwick. I could move to the E175, but I've done so much configuration on this E170 that it doesn't make sense at the moment to lose it. So that's what you're likely to see next. Exactly when that's going to be, I'm not going to make any promises. Life is complicated, as I'm sure it is for everybody, but I will do my best to make it a lot sooner than this one was. If you watched this video all the way through, thank you very much. If you watched all two parts all the way through, thank you even more. I appreciate all the viewing time. But if you only watched for a minute or two, again, thank you. I appreciate all viewing time. If you have any thoughts or questions, leave them in the comments below. I'll try and answer all questions as quickly as I can. And if you want to hit the like button, please do. It does obviously help the channel. If you want to hit the dislike button, then please do, because again, feedback is important to me. If you'd like to subscribe to the channel, I would welcome that, but if you do, strongly advise that you click the bell icon to get notified when I publish a video, because otherwise you might miss it, as the schedule on this channel is very erratic. And if you're just a drive-by and have no interest in subscribing, not a problem. Thank you for your time anyway. But again, let me know what you liked, what you didn't like, and I will try and make videos that appeal to my audience. Anyway, from Berlin Brandenburg Airport, this is me signing off, and I look forward to seeing you back on the channel very soon.